1999 წლის 9 აპრილს თბილისში დილის 4 საათზე საბჭოთა არმიამ არნახულის სისასტიკით დაარბია მშვიდობიანი მიტინგი. 9 წელი გავიდა.
9 years have passed by, with the 9th April 1989 alternatively turning into something belonging to a distant past. People nearly oblivious of the day's developments, that, all the same, all of a sudden regain acuteness. The collapsed empire does not give in, seems in no mood to put up with the situation. There still are forces that go into great lengths for the history to take a reverse course. As one recalls the 9th of April events, one feels that these forces are capable of committing audacious crimes. 9th April 1989 had begun on 4th April from a hunger strike called by a group of young people gathered on the government house stairs with the sole demand of Georgia's independence. The number of protest holders grew daily, huge crowds flowing to the site. It ought to be emphasized that it was a totally peaceful protest, with people demanding their constitutional right. The communist empire opted for their exemplary punishments. Special task troops were introduced into the capital, Tbilisi, up to the very last moment. A group of blind women tried their best to boost the manifestants' morale with songs sounding against the background of the hum emitted by the tanks. They miraculously survived. Later, we met one of them singing the same song in an underground station for a simple reason of an economic hardship. It was her account and documental records that this drama has been based upon. Tbilisi, the underground station, Railway Square, 12 January 1998.
საქართველოს ხელი გული ასველია დაუკარით დაიმღერეთ შადიანი ფიცხელომში რომ ღეროდა მაჩაბელი დაუკარით ძველებური დარდიანი
Tbilisi, the square in front of the government house, 9th April 1989, 4 a.m. Yes, this blind woman is one of them.
საქართველოს სიყვარულში სასთუმალზე თხელაცარ დავიძინე
We generally attended the rallies, my friends and I. We read poetry, sang, cheered the manifestants up, and tried to show our solidarity to the hunger strikers in every way possible.
ეს ცხოვრება სიზმარია გამაღვიძე ღმერთო ეს ცხოვრება ზღაპარია ამიხდინე ღმერთო ის მინდა რომ ვთქვა რომ ძალიან გამიჭირდა მე თვითონ
First, I have to admit that my daily hardships have built up. You are well aware of how the things are now with most of the people, and particularly so with the disabled. Our conditions are desperate. All the services at the Georgian Society of the Blind have closed down, and we have become unemployed with no means at all. I'm a school teacher now, with the salary amounting to merely 14 laris, making it impossible to keep a family, all of them disabled. That's why I started singing in the streets. I don't regret it. Many nice people come along and try to help me. And one more thing. I don't want the people to forget all about the 9th April. I want them to always remember the day.
არ მინდა რომ ხალხმა დაივიწყოს 9 აპრილი. მინდა რომ ყოველთვის ახსოვდეს და ჩვენ შვილებს და ჩვენ შვილიშვილებს და ჩვენმა მომავალმა თაობამ ეს 9 აპრილი კარგად აღიქვას.
The square in front of the government house, 3:30 a.m. The people are taking an oath of allegiance to the idea of the national liberation movement.
I didn't want to leave the site for all my fear. To tell you the truth, I had an acute sense of death approaching, and of course I was scared. All the more so that I had 2 kids to look after, a blind mother and a husband too. They all had to be taken care of. I certainly didn't want to die, neither did I want to leave the site where we all were together. One was one of those struggling for Georgia's cause. I had a feeling something bad would happen, but I couldn't imagine would be so brutally dealt with. After Patriarch Ilya II's address, the situation worsened. It dawned on people that something awful was to take place.
3:40 a.m. Georgia's Orthodox Patriarch Ilya II. He is blessing the people, saying that he had no right to stay away from his congregation at this hour of an ordeal. He speaks of the danger confronting the people and asks them to break up. He tells them he knows about the potential danger may turn into a reality any minute now. He reminds the people about all the hard times Georgia has gone through over the centuries and has survived through God's and the Virgin's will. He once again asks them to break up and follow him into the church.
ჩვენ გავართ რეალური საშიშროების წინაშე. მე მოვედი იმისათვის რომ დაგლოცოთ თქვენ მთელი საქართველო ხედავს თქვენს თავდადებას მთელი საქართველო ხედავს თქვენს ღვაწლს მაგრამ ამავე დროს ჩვენ არ შეგვიძლია არ დავინახოთ ის რეალური საშიშროება, რომელიც დგას ჩვენს წინაშე. აი ამიტომ მე მოვედი აქ, რომ დაგლოცოთ, რომ დამთავრდეს ეს შეყრილობა. მე მოვედი იმისათვის, რომ წავიდეთ ტაძარში და მადლობა შევსწიროთ ღმერთს გადარჩენისათვის. მე ახლა მაცნობეს, რომ საშიშროება რეალურია. შეიძლება ამ საშიშროებამდე დარჩა სულ რამდენიმე წუთი. ამიტომ ჩემო სულიერო შვილებო, გეძლევათ ლოცვა კურთხევა, რომ აბრძანდეთ ახლა და წავიდეთ ერთად ქაშვეთის წმინდა გიორგის ეკლესიაში და მადლობა შევსწიროთ უფალს.
The crowd refuses. The leaders of the manifestation call upon the people to keep silence. It was a complete, an unusual, a peculiar sort of silence. 10,000 people down on their knees, with each one keeping very much to himself, and at the same time forming a single entity. Those were the moments of unity, the moments of purification. This square had never witnessed such moments for decades. It had been the site where false slogans were pronounced and regular parades demonstrating a military might of the Soviet Empire. All that had been designed to generate fear in the subjects. The songs and marches praising Communist Party must have emerged in many of the manifestants' minds, for those were the sounds that the square had been inundated with for many decades.
Что такое советская власть? В чем заключается сущность этой новой власти, которой не хотят или не могут понять еще в большинстве стран? Сущность ее, привлекающая к себе рабочих каждой страны все больше и больше.
Да здравствует советская социалистическая Грузия! Да здравствует нерушимая дружба народов нашей Родины!
"3:55 a.m. Prayer, Our Father." The crowd went down on their knees, many of them holding candles fetched from the church nearby. In but 200 meters away, the tanks rumbled ominously. "4 a.m. The tanks enter the square crammed with people. The manifestants back off. The tanks are followed by the troops. One of the National Liberation Movement leaders, the late Zurab Kandelaki, addresses the people and urges for calm and reserve to avoid possible provocations. He calls for non-resistance and once again reminds the people about the crimes committed by the communist regime over 7 decades. He speaks about a huge number of people who had become the victims of the communist rule, saying that their souls were watching those gathered on the square of the government.
Heard the voices shouting that the troops had entered the square and that people were being slaughtered. I told my friends to start playing for the troops and all those engaged in that brutality to hear us singing. I hoped then that it might keep them from doing us any harm. That's why we started singing in a microphone as loudly as we could. We had sore throats after a sleepless night, so we sang in turn. We were singing very loudly, as if trying to muffle the hum of the tanks. We started, but soon the cable broke off, and we guessed something was happening. The crowd rumbled. Donara and I stood together. Then she was carried away. I fell down, retaining a tight grip on my instrument. Then I lost sight of my friends and didn't know where they were.
მე და დონარა ერთად ვიდექი დონარა წამართვეს ხელიდან მე წავიქეცი ფანდურს მოვკიდე ხელი რაც შეიძლებოდა მაგრა და არ უშვებ ამ ფანდურს
We had no idea where to go. We were unable to find our way about. Some people helped us to get over the barrier, and then I guessed that we were at an underground passage. Someone helped us down the steps and into the passage. We ran, hearing the soldiers behind us. Someone shouted to us to hurry up, for the troops were coming closer. They were out to get us.
The Soviet troops made a good job of the operation, killing 19 people, 16 women among them between 16 and 70 years of age. Several thousands got gas intoxicated. After Tbilisi, there were similar events in Baku and Vilnius, and afterwards the violence-based, the evil empire collapsed.
Davidi